Hey, what's going on guys? Nick here with an Alien Covenant news update for the home release Blu-ray set. So a little bit ago I talked about what is actually going to be on the Blu-ray itself, and the thing to take away the most was that there would be roughly 18 minutes of new footage, whether it was a completely deleted scene or just something that was extended or alternate to what we saw in the theatrical release. Now today it's been officially released what exactly those scenes are, and thanks to AVP Galaxy we have a bit more context to exactly what's going down in some of these scenes. So the first scene is an extended version of the prologue between David and Peter Weyland, in which basically David and Weyland talks about the song that he's playing on the piano and how it is about gods abandoning their creations due to their displeasure with their creator's greed and vanity. And this was a scene in the novel and in some of the early test screenings for Covenant. The next scene is called Walter in the Greenhouse, and it's a short scene where Walter is tending to a greenhouse on the Covenant ship and he's kind of just whistling to himself, passing the time, and there's a bit of a dialogue exchange between Mother and Walter where you get some playful discussion between the two of them. Next up we have Orem and Daniels, an extended version of their discussion on the Covenant ship after the storm that hit the ship and kind of took out a lot of their systems. Basically Orem gives Daniels an executive order telling her to cry it out and just take some time off after the death of Jacob, and this obviously doesn't bode well for Daniels and she has some resentment towards him. Next up we have a scene called Walter Visits Daniels, and it's one of the scenes from the Covenant novelization where Walter visits Daniels in her private chamber and he actually offers her some cannabis to help relax. The next scene is called the Daniels bedroom flashback, and this is the one infamously from the novel, and we actually saw it from some of the concept art that would have featured Jacob Branson, the character played by James Franco, who was Daniels' husband, and they actually did shoot this sequence but they cut it out sort of last minute I guess in the editing process, but I'm glad to see it come back in the deleted scenes. Next up we have an extended funeral for Jacob, who is the captain of the ship, and after Daniels asks Walter to join in on the funeral, Walter offers to actually perform a full funeral service and words for Jacob, but Daniels turns him down, and then the two of them kind of discuss their place on the ship now that they're both single and they have a crew made up of couples. The next scene is called Ledward's Fall. There's currently no information about this, but I'm guessing it involves him after he's been infected with the neomorph. Next up we have Crossing the Plaza Extended, and in the Alien Covenant artwork and behind the scenes materials there was some stuff that looked like the Covenant crew members were walking along the dead engineer corpses and they find a giant hole in the middle of the ground in the plaza, and actually beneath that there are several Juggernaut ships, so I'm glad that this scene came back into the film because it was a pretty cool part of the novel and I did like the conceptual art that was made for it. Alright, the next scene is called Daniels Thanks Walter, and it's inside the Citadel. It's just a brief moment basically where Daniels tells Walter that she's thankful after he saves her life from the neomorph and that he tells her he's here to serve, further setting up their relationship, I guess, just a small beat. Next up we have Rosenthal's prayer, and I don't know exactly what there is because there's no info about this yet, but more than likely it happens either before she gets attacked by the neomorph or maybe during the attack, like right before it kills her she says some few words, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Next scene we have called Walter Reports Back, and after he talks to David and he gets shown around in his private quarters and he sees Shaw's grave and David tells him the whole speech about Ozymandias and how he loved Shaw and how Walter loves Daniels, he goes back and basically reports to Orem, Daniels, and Lope and tells him that David might be off the rails, which would have actually been good if they had kept that in the movie. And the final deleted or extended scene we have here is called Stairs to Egg Room Extended, and I'm guessing this is just when Orem is following David down into his lair with the egg room, and I guess there's just a bit more of extended dialogue or something. We'll just have to wait and see with that one as well, but those are all of the deleted and extended scenes for the film. It is a bit disappointing actually because basically we have no new footage with the engineers or Shaw and David prior to the events of the film. There's nothing with the xenomorph versus the neomorph scene, which is a shame because that was actually filmed, but I don't know why they don't want to release it because it's one of the most requested scenes in the entire movie. There's no alternate ending in which David contacts Weyland-Yutani. None of that stuff from the novel unfortunately made it into the film, so that is pretty much a letdown for me. Not sure what to think about this scene list, but leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Are you guys more excited to buy the Blu-ray now after you know exactly what the deleted scenes are going to be, or are you pretty bummed out that we're not going to get any of the new footage that was with Shaw and David or the engineer stuff? Because I think Pietro Scalia, who edited the film, and he also edited Prometheus and Black Hawk Down and a bunch of other Ridley Scott films, he recently did an interview where he basically said that there was roughly 12 minutes of footage that would have tied Prometheus to Covenant, and in the final film, or I guess the final cut of it, stuff that they left behind in the movie production and the campaign was the Crossing viral marketing video that had David and Shaw on their journey to paradise. That was all of it. So 2 minutes out of 12 we got to see, and the other 10 minutes I guess we'll never see, unfortunately, unless they do some sort of like a extended Ultimate Edition of the Covenant Blu-ray, which honestly there's a chance they might do, so stay tuned if they actually do that. But I guess we'll just have to hope for the best. Maybe the commentary will have some interesting tidbits. But anyways, as always, thank you guys again for watching. My name is Nick, and if you want to know more about the Alien and Predator universe, subscribe to Hybrid Network.